Kirkdjian to Talk to the Hand Reviews. I'd like to welcome all you lovely ladies and handsome gents to my channel. I'm for the reviews, ladies. And let's start off with a little dance. Hello? Hello? Who is it? Oh, you lovely ladies and handsome gents. Today I have a very special fragrance to review for you. Not that the world needs more reviews of this incredible iconic fragrance, but I mean, you know, I'll tell you what, I watched a lot of reviews on BR 540. No one ever told me what I'm going to tell you today about it. BR 540, Baccarat Rouge 540 by the one, the only Francis Kirkdjian, a very, very famous parfumeur, as I'm sure you know. First I'm going to talk about the bottle. Oh, I want to show you, look at this cute little thing in the back. Guess what? See this picture? It turns out to be a depiction of a Baccarat crystal chandelier. Classy, huh? I just found that out after I did this video. Isn't that neat? Little chandelier in your bottle. My husband bought me this last year for Valentine's Day from MFK. They do a really nice job. They put it in a cute box. They give you a couple samples. They let you choose the samples that you want. And it's very pretty. The way they send it, they romance it in a nice box. So not the least expensive way to purchase this incredible fragrance, but it is certainly, I think, the best way because it's the authentic. You're not going to have to wonder, oh, did something happen in the transfer or whatever, you know, like we didn't have to worry about that so much when I was younger, when I worked behind the counter in fragrances and cosmetics, because back then they used to say you could only get your fragrances at the specific distributors. So department stores were almost the only places back then that even sold fragrances. So if you were able to find a fragrance somewhere else, like a YSL or an Oscar, it was questionable as to whether or not it was genuine. Nowadays, I think really partially ever since the advent of Sephora, where where there's a little mall store that you can go and buy these expensive fragrances in now. You know, we didn't have that back then. Back then it was mostly, well, we had a little of that, but it wasn't the same as it is now. You couldn't get big name, brand new fragrances. Maybe you could find them at a discount store where some of the stuff was old or something like that. But nowadays they're new, they're top quality. You can get them a lot of different places. Anyhow, that's neither here nor there with Baccarat Rouge 540. I have a bad habit of going on about irrelevant things. It makes my videos really long. So I'm trying to make my videos shorter now. So I'm gonna try to talk faster. Okay, this fragrance, the bottle is really substantial. Oh, they'll engrave it for you, by the way. Mine's engraved with my husband and my initials on it. That's another nice thing they'll do for you at MFK for no extra charge. But I want to talk to you about, the bottle is so substantial. The top here is like, it is metal. It is not plastic. It's not, and it's very heavy. I dropped it on the floor and I was like, ah! But it looks perfect. It didn't get, nothing happened to it. On the inside, there's a little bit of a plastic, you know, gasket or whatever you call that. So this fragrance, it is so special. The spray, by the way, the amount, the metered amount that comes out, I gotta show you. It's just this perfect little metered amount. You put one spray on yourself, one spray, you spray it once like I just did in the room, you'll smell it. I'll smell it today and through tomorrow. Even after I take a shower, it's still gonna be in this room for days. And that's the way this fragrance is. You spray one spray, it will last you all that day, and probably part of the next day, even if you shower. Not as intensely, but it really will. It is the most intense fragrance in terms of sillage. You know, people will smell it on you when you walk by. Even one little spray. You do not have to spray lots of this. You only need a little bit. So it is a very cotton candy, yet with these like musky accords to it. Oh look, here's Francis Kirkdjian. I'm talking about him in another video. That actually brings me to one of the reasons why I think Francis Kirkdjian is a genius. He's a genius! Because this is just my personal experience. He's created a lot of famous fragrances. One of the earlier fragrances he created was Green Tea by Elizabeth Arden. And that's one of my very favorite fragrances because I find it to be very uplifting. There was a time in my life a few years back when I was working overseas, and it was really fun. I was having a great time, but there were some issues, and I was just kind of really not enjoying it as much as I wanted to. And I had brought one bottle of fragrance, which I really love, and I wore it all the time. But I thought, well, I'm just gonna go buy, you know, some Arden green tea. It was at the store when I went there, and I was like, okay, yeah. And I sprayed that fragrance that night in the hotel room that I was living in. I lived in a hotel at the time, and in a hotel in Hilton. Overnight, my mood improved. My feeling about the job I was doing when I was there improved. Just everything got better. Every time I sprayed green tea in the air, everything got better. And I feel like up till then, I had had kind of a bummed experience with this job I was doing. But after that, everything became better after I bought that bottle of green tea. So I didn't know who created it or anything until only like last year when I just started, you know, looking around at when I started doing this channel really, and discovered it was, lo and behold, it's Francis Kirkdjian. So that's one of the reasons why my husband bought Baccarat Rouge 540 for me. We were looking everywhere for it. We went all the way across the United States and all the way across Canada. We traveled last year, or the year before last rather, and we couldn't find any bottle to try anywhere. Now, we didn't go to all the high-end department stores. We went to some of them, and so my husband, he felt bad that we went all that way, and he knew I really wanted to smell it because there's so much hype about it, right? So he bought me the bottle, and so now I have it, and that's what you see here. And as you know, it is kind of an expensive fragrance. This bottle here, this little one, this is a small bottle, starts at $250 Canadian. So that's like 190 US, something like that. There's my notes. Lots of notes about BR 540. I hope you're here for the deep dive, because I'm diving in deep. Okay. The first thing I want to talk to you about, so Baccarat Rouge 540 was created in 2015 by, of course, you know, Francis Kirkdjian, the famous nose fragrance creator. He was born in 1969 in Grasse, France. He grew up surrounded by jasmine, rose, and lavender fields. Doesn't that sound lovely? A lot of perfumers are from Grasse. I want to go there. Have you been there? Tell me, what's it like? What did you do? Did you do anything perfume related? Tell me about it. Just a few other fragrances that, or houses that Francis Kirkdjian created for. He also created, as part of that whole green tea line, later he created iced green tea and spiced green tea. In Fragrantica, he has 236 perfumes in the database. He's designed for Dior, Elisab, Arden, Escada, Davidoff, Guerlain, Narciso Rodriguez, Versace, and many, many more. I just wanted to grab the top names that everybody would recognize. He is actually currently the creative director at Dior Parfums, as well as running Maison Francis Kirkdjian. The fragrance, I find, stays true to the first spray. It does not really change a lot. It dries down a little bit more powdery, but not really. I would say with this fragrance, what you smell is what you get, and it will last. That same fragrance, that same smell. It won't change and it won't metamorphosize. I mean, well, it didn't on me anyways. Maybe it will on other people, but I have like dryish skin, so maybe if your skin is oilier, you might experience something different. What I never heard anyone say was, why is it called Baccarat Rouge 540? And here it is. The name Rouge 540 evokes a metamorphosis of a clear crystal mingled with 24 karat gold powder, gradually brought to fusion at 540 degrees Celsius, arousing a glowing red appearance, which Baccarat calls a rouge à l'or, or golden red. Apparently Baccarat crystal and Maison Francis Kirkdjian had an encounter about creating something for the celebration of Baccarat crystal's 250th anniversary. So it is related specifically to Baccarat crystal. It's not just a name. It launched as a limited edition in 250 numbered crystal bottles, with the idea being to embody the essence of Baccarat fine crystal. So that's why it's called Baccarat Rouge 540. There really was a meeting of the minds between Baccarat crystal and Francis Kirkdjian. And the result is this fragrance, which is pretty incredible. By the way, Ariana was one of the first people to popularize this fragrance. And people followed after that, but it's one of the most loved, most famous, most popular fragrances in the world, and probably ever. Yeah, so they felt that they wanted to capture the spirit of crystal. So here are some more of these really interesting crystal pieces. This one here, $690, it's yours. Another pretty one from 1764. And then look at all these. I had a red paperweight like that. I gave it away. I hope it wasn't Baccarat. So a few more things about Francis Kirkdjian. Now the way he describes the fragrance is, it's gourmand with a unique twist that has never been done before. Gourmand with a unique twist that has never been done before. And that unique twist, my friends, my lovely ladies and handsome gents, seems to be that it is an overdose of ambroxan, which is synthetic ambergris or ambergris. Which, if you don't know, ambergris or ambergris, we used to call it ambergris, but I mean, I know back when I worked in cosmetics and fragrance, when you'd go to the learning seminars and learn about the fragrances, these schools they called them, and they would tell you what's in them, and they would go through everything and explain it to you. And they always said ambergris. They never said ambergris. But what ambergris is, whales will secrete a substance, and that substance lies around in the ocean. It floats around all over the place, and eventually someone finds it, and then they sell it for a lot of money because for some reason it adds a certain something to fragrances. And nowadays they use ambroxan. They don't really use that. A lot of things that they used to use in fragrances have been outlawed. They're not allowed to use them anymore, and truthfully I'm okay with that. I'm not really big on using animals in beauty products, you know. So some more things I have to say. Some things about Francis Kirkdjian. He likes to explore scent in different mediums, like for instance bubbles, ice rinks, leatherwork, and the fountain at Versailles for an art installation with music and light. that's pretty neat. I would have loved to have gone to that, experienced that art installation with the fountains of Versailles and light and music with Francis Kirkdjian, you know, fragrancing the fountain. That'd be pretty cool. This fragrance, by the way, also comes in hair mist, body oil, body cream, and candles. So I want to talk for just a second about something about this fragrance. Okay, according to Fragrantica, they list Baccarat Rouge 540 as an amber floral, but according to Francis Kirkdjian himself, this is a gourmand scent. So here's something that I think is interesting. The notes in this fragrance are as follows. The top notes are saffron and jasmine. The middle notes, that's it, saffron and jasmine. The middle notes are amber wood and ambergris. And then at the base, fir resin and cedar. But what really just kind of slaps me across the face is that the mid notes, the notes that stay the longest and that read the loudest, are amberwood and ambergris. So ambergris is doing a lot of work with this fragrance, or rather ambroxan, the synthetic version of ambergris. So it's really unusual that you would find a fragrance like that would choose to put that in the middle notes. I mean, that, I may be wrong, but that's what I found. And I know now, based on what I've read, that is what Francis Kirkdjian meant to do. That's exactly the way he meant it to be. He meant for there to be this, you know, light, pleasing, you know, cotton candy-ish type of top note, kind of vibe to it, but then that there's something else really unique underneath that persists throughout you wearing the fragrance. And it does, and it smells great. It's as you know, it's a shared or unisex fragrance, and it really actually, unlike most shared fragrances, I think, really hits the nail on the head of being a really great shared or unisex fragrance. Because honest to goodness, this smells like a woman's fragrance. Honest to goodness, this smells like a man's fragrance. In the strangest way, like how can it be? If I were working behind the counter, this fragrance could be at the women's fragrance counter, at the men's fragrance counter, and neither could have ever had to know that they're shared fragrance. No one would ever figure it out, I don't think, because they do this strange, I don't know how they do it, but they made it just right. I told you, I think Francis Kirkdjian is a genius. He's a genius. So, anyways, that has been long enough, hasn't it? Hold up, wait a minute. Okay, you know how I told you that there was the first editions of Baccarat Rouge 540 were limited edition that sold out really fast? Well, this is the bottle. Isn't that gorgeous? It was designed in the 1940s by Georges Chevalier, who was the creative director at Baccarat from 1916 to the 1970s. This gorgeous crystal bottle. But there's more. Oh my gosh. Once I went looking to find out, I thought, well, maybe you guys would like to see the picture of the bottle. Well, then I researched the fragrance. It turns out the original Baccarat Rouge 540 has different notes. And I was kind of like, my mind was blown. In the original BR 540, there's top notes are blood orange and citruses. The middle notes are hedione, lavender, saffron, and sage. And then the base notes are woody notes, ambergris, oak, and oak moss. So that's quite different. And also another thing about that original BR 540 was that it was listed as for women, not shared. Like Baccarat Rouge 540, as we know it, is listed as a shared fragrance, but in the original one, it was for women. So I thought that was interesting. So Baccarat Rouge 540. I forgot. What's it smell like? Okay, what's it smell like? Okay, there's a few, and I have my own opinion too. So, according to Fragrantica, 2,532 people felt that it smells like Ariana Grande Cloud, and it does, it really does. What's the difference? Ariana Grande Cloud, it is lighter, I think, but it does smell very similar, and it's pretty affordable. So I mean, I guess it's not that affordable, but it's not $250 for the small bottle. So second up, 1,054 people felt it was like Red Temptation from Zara. Don't know. 1,602 people felt it was like Burberry Her. I think I agree with that too. It's lighter though. 1,152 people felt it was like Instant Crush by Mancera. And 642 people felt it was like Après l'Amour from amourThomasKosmala. But I have an opinion. Okay, there is a fragrance at Bath & Body Works that I bought completely by accident. It was on sale, and I bought the fragrance and the lotion. It's called In the Stars, and it smells so much like the R540, except it is a lot lighter. But I actually, between the two, I reach for the In the Stars more often, because I don't really necessarily need my fragrances to be as strong sillage and as long lasting as this super high quality fragrances with these high quality oils that last forever. You only need a tiny bit. I kind of reach for the In the Stars more often, and it's like $10, $12 for the body spray, you know. And I can be really much more liberal with that one, because I know it's not going to last for days when I spray like 2 or 3 sprays. You know, it's not gonna, for even longer. Like if you spray a tissue with it or something and leave it in a room, you'll still smell it for probably weeks and weeks. That's how potent that fragrance is, and it's a really great thing. It's great, but you know, I'm just being honest. So In the Stars, when you go to In the Stars at Fragrantica, you'll find that it is the top fragrance that people feel smells. Sorry. You'll find that that Baccarat Rouge 540 is the #1 fragrance that people think In the Stars smells like. So they don't mention that when you go BR 540. It comes up like way late, you know, like many, not the top 5 or the top 10. But when you look at In the Stars, the first fragrance that comes up is BR 540, and then also I think Ariana Grande Cloud is another one too. So you know, there's a general consensus around which fragrances smell like Baccarat Rouge 540, and that's my opinion. So anyhow, thanks for joining me again, and I hope you'll come next time. I hope you'll subscribe. I hope you'll give this video a like. I hope you'll dance around with me and act a little bit silly. And yeah, so I'll see you next time. Yeah, 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 yeah. Hope you'll try. Hope you'll try. Francis Kirkdjian's BR 540. It's a really nice fragrance. Come back and tell me what you think. Woo! Bye!